Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. I hope you can hear me over the fan. The sky outside is quite deceptive. It looks like it shouldn't be a really hot day, but it is a really hot day. Oh, hello, by the way, if you don't know who I am, my name's Emma. I'm an illustrator based in Sheffield and these are my daily-ish vlogs. Sorry everyone for the lack of video on Wednesday. It has just been so flipping hot and my studio is still an absolute mess that I didn't get anything done. I've just been literally loafing around trying to stay cool. Bless you! Rolly's allergies. Rolly's allergies and my allergies are through the roof today. I thought I'd start this video off here rather than in my studio because I'm putting it off. It's so flipping hot in that studio, but we do need to sort it out. But for now, I'm enjoying my second coffee of the day. No, my first coffee of the day. And I'm gonna read before getting started. I've got the fan. In fact, I've got two fans pointed on me and I'm just psyching myself up at the moment. Enthusiasm levels are low in the house at the moment. So we'll see what we get done today. Okay, I'm ready for action. This is how I left my studio the other day. If you didn't watch the other video, I basically had to take all of my stock, which is on these shelves, out of the cupboard behind you now, which is where they used to be, because that's the only access to my loft. We thought we had rodents in the loft. Turned out we don't. We just had ground beetles in the coving of our bedroom, which is a much nicer solution, but it's made me realise that if I ever did need to get into the loft, having these shelves here, while it's nice, and it's nice to have a stock cupboard and close the door on it, it was a real pain in the bum to get that out. So to make it future-proof, I'm keeping those out of there. I'm going to move these sets of drawers here, which are absolutely chock full of art materials and really heavy. They're going to go into the cupboard on wheels, so if we ever need to get into the attic, we can pull those out. This, it does fit, I have measured it. It's going to go into that area. There used to be shelves up there, but I've taken them down. So I've done a bit of prep work in this room. The thing is, I'm going to need to move either the desk or this to be able to get those out because they're way too wide for the gap that I've left. Which means, again, moving everything around. So just stick with me on this, guys. If you like studio tidy-ups, this video is for you. If you don't like studio tidy-ups, but you just want to support me, just stay with me while I'm doing this process. I think first things first, I need to move everything off this desk, because if I do need to move this desk, it's not going to happen. This is the cabinet full of my my art materials. This is the drawers full of my art materials. It's so super heavy. Paper as well. Paper weighs a lot. So there's loads of stuff in here that'll all need to come out. Jeez Louise. And then there's a second drawer unit down here, which is just as chock full. I'm going to set you up over here, if that's okay. It doesn't help that this studio is the hottest room in our house. So I've closed my blackout blind. I might leave the lights off because I can kind of see, but we'll see. I might turn the light back on later. I've also got two fans going because it's so hot. But hopefully the combination of two fans and the blind being down is really going to help. So fingers crossed. I am going to put the fan on, so I won't be talking so much. This little bit's going to be a time lapse. You can see one of the problems with this whole unit is that because it doesn't fit the alcove, I was just shoving stuff down here. And granted, some of it is useful stuff, but do I need to see it on display? See, all this could just be in the cupboard. So that's the plan. I think that white set of drawers might actually wheel out. Not wheel out because I don't have any wheels on it yet, but slide out. But obviously first, there is a load of stuff that I need to clear before I can actually get into it. Right, I'll put the fan back on. Let's crack on. Can you hear me over the fans? It's too much effort to try and close them off. This might actually be able to stay off its wheels. I was a little bit worried about having to put these back on its wheels because it's really heavy and everything in these drawers would need to be taken out. And even without the things in the drawers, they're quite heavy. And to get that up, because this is a separate cabinet on top, they're two cabinets, one on top of another. So to get this one off, I'd probably need another person. Maybe, maybe not, but I didn't want to risk it. So if they can stay not on their wheels, amazing, because they're all right to get in and out. If I needed to get them moved, I'd be able to. That's a last minute job. I'll be able to think about that afterwards. First things first, I need to reconfigure this shelving unit. Let me set you up. So I've moved the shelf, but as you may already know, I live in an old house, nothing is straight. So it doesn't look too bad on camera actually. Ooh, it doesn't look too bad on camera. But this wall here, the chimney breast, kind of leans in rather than goes up straight. And that's about as straight as I can make the shelves, but I had to cut a bit of wood to fit underneath there. It's one of the good things about being someone who doesn't really throw anything that looks useful out, because you can always find what you need when you need it. It is going to be tied to the wall as well, so I've got these little attachments over there. You can see here, little fabric attachments that just screw into the wall and into that, and just keep it from toppling over. So it's safe. What I need to do now is arrange the shelves. Because I do in-person markets, I do have these two boxes here, which are my market stock boxes. And I figured, seeing as though these shelves are so adjustable, I'll fit them kind of underneath there so they slide underneath. And then they're kind of accessible, more accessible than they were in there before. phase 1 is done. There's another fan on. I'm leaving that fan on because as noisy as it might be, I'm not. You can probably tell from my face. Yeah, phase 1's done. I'm happy. Fits really nicely. I'm really pleased. I'm going to go and have a break and a drink and maybe an ice cream. And then we'll tackle this bit. Clearing this out, moving these in there, and then after that phase 3 will be the desk, getting that all back together. But yeah, then we're going to have a drink, and I think I'll show you some of the things that are going to be in the sale. Not going to be in the sale, that are in the sale. At the moment I'm running a little £1 or less sale. Most things in the sale are £1 or less. There are some other things which I've separated into a separate sale, which are like art prints and stuff, which are not going to be less than £1, but I've still got a reduction on them. But if you want something that's like super cheap, there are a load of cards. In fact, I'll do it now. So what we've got, I'll just dip into them. My old designs of Cool for Cats. I've got my Cool Cat design as well. My old Love Cat designs. Literally, it's the old designs and end of line things. I've also got a bunch of Christmas cards, peas on earth, which are end of line, and these are £1 or less. So you can go in and get yourself some proper bargains. I've also got some really old movie quote cards. I really like these ones, but not enough people get them, I think, for them to be like really good sellers. But those who do get them, you are my people. I'm getting too hot now. So there's a little sneaky peek of what's in my £1 or less sale. Get along to embersandink.co.uk. That's my shop, my small business. And have a look there. Unfortunately, sorry, I'm breaking the fourth wall here. There we go. Keep the magic. Unfortunately, I don't post outside of the UK, whether it's sale or not sale, just because of like, I'm only one person and there's so much going on in the world, so many hoops to jump through with Brexit, with tariffs in other countries, and requirements for businesses, you know, some of them quite rightly. But as a one person band, it's kind of a lot to deal with. It might not be, but from what I've looked into, it is. So I've just taken that blanket stance of only within the UK. I don't like to be isolationist like that, but it's just completely easier for me. So I apologise. You can tell from my face, I need a drink. Let's go. Back after lunch. I had a nice little elderflower cordial that I made myself, can I say. I collected some elderflowers from my allotment and for the very first time made elderflower cordial. Nice to have on a hot day. Okay, so next thing to tackle are these. I think on my lunch I've decided I'm gonna try and put the wheels back on. It's just gonna be easier all around. I think if I put them in now without the wheels on, I'm gonna regret it and I'm gonna end up doing it. So I might as well do the job properly the first time. Well, it's kind of like a two-part job. So I'm going to take everything out of this top set of drawers. I'm going to see how heavy it is. If I can lift it on my own, job's a good one. If I can't, I'll fill it all back up and I'll just slide it in there. But yeah, let's just crack on with it. Unfortunately, the drawers don't pull out on this. I mean, they pull out, but they lock, so I can't just take the drawers out. I've got to take everything out of them. Unless there's something I can do. What can I do? Maybe unscrew this. Let's see. Okay, what I've got so far is this, and it's okay, it's not ideal. The drawers open only just short of where they'd normally open. These are boxes that I use when I do markets. I don't really do markets that often, so it doesn't make sense that this is accessible all of the time and my art materials are less so. I'd rather have this over there. Unfortunately, well, I need this box here for my market like real soon, in a couple of weeks. I mean, I could take everything out and put that in first and then put this in, but to get that out I'd have to take this all the way out. I could do that because it's on wheels, but I do have a bunch of kind of, it's not unused space, but it's not well used space, and I wonder if those pink boxes could go up there, because they're not very heavy, even though those shelves are pretty strong. They're not very heavy, and then that would leave a load of space next to my materials drawers for other materials like these things. So I've got a drawing board, I've got a folio, I've got a light box, and that seems to make more sense to me. So I'm going to take a quick cool down break, and then we'll tackle that and see if that's an option. And if it's not an option, that's fine as well. This is so much better than it was this morning. So either way, I'm feeling that progress is being made, whether it be slow or not. But I could also get one of these old shelves here, which used to be up in the alcove where that is. And I could maybe cut it to size. They're just so too long, just a bit too long to fit across there. There used to be a shelf across there when I moved in, but it was flimsy and I took it down. But I think that could be an option to put those pink boxes on as well, which would be a great use of space because it's just dead space up there. So to have that for things that I don't use very often would be great. But I need a cool down break, so we'll think about all this afterwards. Same clothes, different day. Progress is being made in here, you know. It's 20 to 2, or thereabouts, 25 to 2. That was a busy little 2 seconds on the street. Yeah, I did do a little bit more last night, and I've done a bit more this morning. The blind's been down and the fan's been on, but now the sun's moved around, so now I can film because the light is here. So it's just really a little bit of sorting to do. I got rid of that big box that my computer came in. That was so overly engineered, that box. So that's finally in the bin, taking up all the space in my recycling. Let me show you what I've done, and we'll quickly blast through and move everything back to where it should be, because I've got to go to the allotment to water. It's an absolutely scorching day, but I'm waiting until maybe 4 o'clock until it starts to cool down, that cool down time. Maybe 5 o'clock actually. But also this evening I've got a Zoom call with Axel Scheffler, not just me, but it's like an event that I need to get back for that, and I want to be showered and clean and not a sweaty mess. So yeah, let me quickly show you what we've done. Right, so pink boxes are now up there. They don't quite fit, but that's fine. The pink boxes on the ends are empty, so they're not going to fall over. Also in here, are my supplies. I did put them on the wheels, you saw me do that, so that is now wheelable, outable. I've also got here some other things which could probably be condensed at some point, but that's another matter altogether. And then up here I've reinstated the shelf that was there when I very first moved in. We found it in the cellar, so I didn't have to cut any wood. That was nice. And there's just some things up there that I don't use a lot. So I've got some old studio lights which are quite handy for like filming like Skillshare classes and things, because they make nice even light. If I'm going to be filming for a really long time and I want it to look a bit more professional, I'll get those out, but I don't use them a lot. And also got a big bag of toys here and some other bits and bobs. But yeah, I'm kind of liking this in here. What else have I got? What else have I done since you last saw me a few seconds ago? These things have been moved here because I have got no place for them yet. But while it's the summer, the radiators aren't going to be on. Sorry, breaking the fourth wall again. The radiators aren't going to be on, so it's not going to pose a problem. As long as I get these sorted pretty soon, that'll be fine. And I'm loving these shelves here. Really, really loving them. So what I need to do now is kind of find a place for these things as I move my desk out to where it used to be. Have a dust, have a clean, maybe put my rug down that used to be in the bedroom, which I moved out. But yeah, we're just basically faffing now. So we are back in business. My desk is back where it's supposed to be. Well, originally supposed to be. And I kind of miss the floor space. But to be honest, once I've got things to the recycling bin, I think I'm going to be all right. So all of that was filmed with a little bit of creative camera work. There is still some boxes and stuff to get going. But I think this is pretty much all right, you know, for the upheaval that this studio has been in over the last few days, and also considering how hot it is at the moment. I think I've done pretty well. Anyway, as mentioned, tonight I've got a live draw on Zoom with Axel Scheffler. Can you imagine that? And I've got to go to the allotment beforehand, and then I've got to have a shower and dinner. And time's getting on. I've only got 2 hours until the Zoom starts, and there's quite a lot to fit in. And I'm hot. Have I mentioned that? This live Zoom call with Axel Scheffler, by the way, like I say, it's not something that is just me and him. We're not best pals or anything. This is one of those events that if you've stuck with me before, you'll have heard me mention. Over on my Patreon, I've got a free membership tier as well as my paid tiers. And over on this tier, you get a bunch of free stuff. You don't have to sign up on the tier to access all of the stuff that's free. But one of the things that's free is I collect all of the competitions, opportunities and events and stuff that I think you guys might be interested in, and I share them all up in my competitions and opportunities folder. And one of the best ways to get involved in things like this, it's not an exhaustive list, but it's basically all the things that I hear about, I get emailed about, I find out about through friends, and I think you guys might be interested in. So competitions, either free or paid competitions, opportunities that publishers might have, that people might be looking for illustrators, stuff like that, or events with illustrators, and you know, things that I think you guys might be interested in. Like I said, if you want to find out about these, you don't, like I say, you don't have to sign up on the free tier to get involved in these, but if you sign up as a free member, you will get a notification whenever I put up anything free on there, and it probably will at some point, it will definitely at some point include either a competition, an opportunity, or an event that you might be interested in. And all of these things might be free or paid for things, but they're nothing to do with me. It's just things that I've heard about, I've got emailed about, I found out about through friends, and I think you might be interested too. So like I say, you don't have to sign up on a free tier, because I don't want to have to feel like, you know, you have to give anything to me to get involved in this. But if you do want a notification whenever anything like that goes up and live, the best way to do that is to sign up on a free tier, and then you'll get notified whenever any free content goes up like that. So I am going to get going now. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's not been too boring. In the next video, I am planning to actually use some of these frames down here and the mounting board that I bought the other day, and I'm going to do a how to mount your own pictures video. If you'll find that interesting, I hope so, because that's what it's going to be. Well, fingers crossed, unless some other kind of unexpected life event happens that gets in the way of that. If nothing else, it's coming soon, so keep your eyes peeled. Right, I'm going to go and get going, so hopefully I'll catch you in the next video. So until then, bye!
So yeah, next is going to share Axel's presentation tonight, and we'll just get that up.
Always interested in art, and I studied history of art for a while, till I found out that I'm not an academic. That wasn't the right thing. Now, this is a typical page of my sketchbook. When I was at art college, I filled these sketchbooks.